Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has completed several reviews that were triggered by monumental changes in the global market. The FCCC received submissions for bus fare reviews, for wheat product reviews, basically flour prices, bread prices and biscuit prices, all of which are dependent on wheat products. The application made by traders cited a major shift in input costs, resulting in global hikes in fuel prices of bus fares and wheat products for prices of flour, biscuit and bread. Following a robust and independent analysis of the submission by the traders, the FCCC has approved several increases. So we'll go in detail. Bus fares. The FCCC has completed its assessment of the bus fare review, taking into consideration all necessary historical data, changes in input cost, and any other cost that's associated with the transportation industry. These costs included things like fuel prices, tires, consumables, spare parts. As such, the FCCC, having considered all of this, having gone through extensive consultation, has approved an increase of 36.3% in bus fares for all stages. The bus fare review was conducted in accordance with the bus fare regulatory framework in assessing the price change. The framework sets out the approach applied for regulating bus fares and ensures that regulatory transparency exists. The FCCC has also published this framework back in 2020. The key consideration in determining these fares include 1. The cost of providing services, 2. The need for greater efficiency in the supply so as to ensure that there is reduced cost and benefits for consumers as well as bus operators. Protection of consumers from abuse of monopoly power in terms of fares, policies and standards of service. The social impact of such a determination and the impact of the determination on the use of public passenger transport network, and also to ensure that we understand how this leads to sustainable modes of public transport as a means of use. Again, it is important to note that the FCCC sets out maximum amount of bus fares. As such, a company can always choose to charge below the ceiling, allowing operators on competitive routes to compete on the basis of cost leadership, as well as to offer best deal to Fijian consumers. A price ceiling is meant to protect overcharging by operators in routes where competition is lessened, limited or non-existent. FCCC utilizes a mechanism to regulate possible monopolies which may develop on routes which are being serviced by a single company, and this is done in order to protect Fijians. In the current review period, there were some delays in assessing the submission, as some genuine concerns were highlighted both by bus operators, but the FCCC wanted to ensure that we are able to look at some of these issues prior to conducting the reviews. Now, the provision of full information as outlined in the regulatory framework was a cause of concern. In order to qualify for any reviews, we must remind any trader, including bus operators in this case, that you must individually file submissions to the FCCC. Simply telling us that you don't keep proper records is not acceptable. The FCCC had received submissions for an increase of 60%, up to 60% in stage 1 and 25 to 30% increase in stage 2 onwards. Bus operators and other transport operators need to keep in mind that everyone has to be treated fairly in this regard. As such, charging higher fares for stage 1 consumers will mean that these consumers will be massively disadvantaged to travel. As such, those Fijian consumers that live within the 6 kilometer radius of their destination will be massively disadvantaged should an increase of 60% be allowed. Moreover, such a system of focusing only on stage 1 will disadvantage rural operators who provide essential services to Fijians who live in such areas. An increase in the maximum bus fare of 36.3% in all stages has been quantitatively deemed necessary for the sustainability of the Fijian bus industry. To put the price change into perspective, the stage 1 fare increases from 75 cents to $1.02. Stage 2 fares increase from $1.18 to $1.61 and so on. The change in input cost of tires, fuel, spare parts were both determined to be a direct result of global disruptions on our purchase price as well as international shipping freight charges. The review further considered changes in the market condition, operating environment as a result of COVID pandemic when bus services were either not operational or operating on reduced capacity. In this instance, bus companies incurred a huge loss. This review was necessary to ensure the sustainability of the bus industry. The bus industry plays a vital role in Fiji's transportation sector, enabling thousands of Fijians to commute daily. The increase in fares will allow bus companies to remain operational and to provide uninterrupted services and continue to employ those Fijians that work with them. Ultimately, our goal is to support the bus industry that upholds the best interest of all Fijians, not just the operators. We hold great confidence that the Fijian people trust the FCCC to make independent and fair decisions in national interest. It is our commitment to always conduct our due diligence, thoroughly scrutinize any submission, and consider the cost of service, as well as things like efficiency, affordability, reliability, and sustainability of the industry as a whole. By doing this, we have made the fairest possible decision for both Fijian bus operators and the travelling public. These rates will become effective from May 13th, 2022, which is next Friday. The FCCC also received submissions from flour manufacturers citing steep increases in global wheat prices. Ukraine and Russia, known as the breadbasket of Europe, producing nearly 30% of the world's wheat and 75% of essential oils used in cooking and preparing food, has received major disruptions. Now, together, Ukraine and Russia export 20% of the world's corn, mineral fertilizer, natural gas components, all of which are used either in the production or cultivation of grains and seeds. So any conflict arising at the source country where imports are taken will have a direct impact on other countries. Fiji generally imports its wheat from Australia, but a disruption of such epic proportions in a source market that accounts for 30% of the global production will see a direct impact on Fiji, all Fijians, and the price that we pay at the counter. Indicative analyses show that international wheat prices have been consistently increasing since the third quarter of 2021. For ease of reference, Australian hard wheat, which we use in the production process along with Australian premium wheat, the Australian hard wheat prices have increased from $326.68 in the 2019 price review to about $422.54 in the current review. FCCC undertook a thorough review of cost components and has approved an increase of 8 to 9% depending on individual flour products. For example, a normal 10 kg pack at factory wholesale will go from $14.57 to $16.30, while the retail price will be affected from $15.68 to $16.95. Again, these prices are effective on Friday, 13th May 2022. The FCCC will also be releasing the schedule of both bus fares as well as flour prices in its different pack size, including baker's flour, sharp, normal flour, wholemeal flour, and its different pack size 1 kg, 2 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg packs on its website. And we'll make this available for public viewing as well. Now, following the review of flour prices and submissions by manufacturers, FCCC also received and approved changes in the prices of bread and biscuit. It is no secret that components of bread and biscuit are directly sourced from flour. As such, breakfast crackers, which is made from flour, and bread, which has a huge input cost arising out of increase in flour prices, have also taken a hit. As such, FCCC, after having determined this, has provided an increase in the price of breakfast crackers, namely FMF brand 375 gram packet, the price increases from $1.70 to $2. 5 kg plastic pail, FMF brand, increases from $28.41 to $32.14. While the 2 kg plastic pail prices increases from $12.36 to $13.89. In a similar fashion, 3 bread prices that are regulated by the FCCC, which include the long loaf 400 grams, medium white 600 grams sliced, and medium wholemeal 600 grams sliced. All of these products have experienced an increase. Long loaf prices increased from 71 cents to 94 cents. Medium white 600 gram sliced increases from $1 to $1.54. Medium wholemeal 600 gram increases from $1.14 to $1.63. This review took into account input cost changes and that the price changes are a direct result of increases in flour prices. This, coupled with the fact that bread prices have not changed since 2011. The last time we did a increase or a price change based on input cost was over a decade ago. Changes in cost components, input prices, and the market has eventually taken its toll. As such, FCCC had no other option but to look at the review and grant an increase. The increase sought by companies is much higher, and if you look at bread prices alone, and if you are talking to companies like the Hot Bread Kitchen, you will find that there is a high degree of cross subsidy. So the amount of money made from selling these particular products is almost close to zero. For some companies, it may also run in the negatives. The reason for this is that the FCCC historically had removed quite a few items out of price control, and the idea was to look at a system of cross subsidization. The price change for bread and biscuit also take effect from Friday the 13th of May. Now, having said this, or leading on from the making reference to the press conference last week and the announcements here, it will also be important to give you an outlook of what the market looks like. As announced previously, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused a ripple effect across the world, worsening the global food crisis. Since February of this year, the war has caused disturbance in the world supply chain, driving up the cost of fuel and creating scarcity for fertilizers and grains. The UN FAO has reported that international food prices are the highest it has been in 60 years since they started reporting, and it could rise by a further 20% if the war continues. Unfortunately, the market forecast for us looks bleak. The war has cut wheat production, and projections for 2022 are quite negative. The possibility of 20% of Ukraine's winter crop not being harvested as a result of direct destruction, which simply means that you've got Russian troops trying to burn down wheat fields. This is expected to have a severely negative impact on wheat prices globally vis-a-vis flour prices locally. The Ukraine-Russia war has negatively impacted any recovery that we had looked at out of COVID-19. Even before the war, production had not kept pace with the surging demand of the global economy that was recovering from the pandemic. To put matters into perspective, and a lot of people had questioned, why do we continuously make reference to the war? Simply because, one, Russia is the second largest supplier of oil to the world, supplying 11% of the global fuel oil stock. As global oil prices rose to about $113 US a barrel, this was the immediate impact of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. So the day that the invasion happened, prices had just jumped, sitting from $65, went up to 70, went up to 80, and then shot all the way up to 113. Hitting triple digits is the first time since 2014. And in recent reviews, we've seen that current prices as well as future forecasts for refined fuel oil prices are also soaring. In general, war has increased the price of basic commodities, driven freight cost even further. And we must understand that the decisions not only made by Russia and Ukraine impact the global supply market. In fact, decisions made by other countries in response to this war also has an impact. This impact will be felt in the prices of goods in Fiji as well. For instance, our global trading partners could face new difficulties in shipping from Russia, making payments to Russia. Supply may be hindered as countries impose further sanctions. As of late, we've heard the EU trying to announce further sanctions. This will negatively impact Russia, but also impact the global supply market. The true impact of this may not readily be known, but there is one certainty. There are supply side issues growing together with high demands, and all of these contributing factors will push prices high. Fiji cannot control any of these factors, neither can Fijian businesses. We as price takers in the global market are impacted by these factors. The role of the FCCC is to ensure that we do not allow for any artificial increases to be passed We do not allow for any extra profiteering by companies, but we pass on what is fair and what is available to us from the international market. Because, ladies and gentlemen, doing the right thing, as I said previously, is not popular. And in this instance, increasing prices and fares will not be popular. We will continue to question any proposed increases or any efforts by Fijian businesses to hike prices, to engage in issues like price gouging, engage in unethical practices like hoarding. We will continue to remain steadfast to our commitment to the Fijian people of protecting Fijian consumer welfare while ensuring that Fijian businesses that provide employment remain sustainable. Vinaka.